Hi there, and welcome to the IBAC Tech Trek podcast, where we explore the outer reaches of insurance technology. I am Tom Reid, your science officer on this journey, and beaming aboard to join us today is Sherif Gemayel, CEO of Trufla Technology. Hey, Sherif.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
I'm good.
Beam
Now,
me
you're
up.
probably beam you up. You are, in fact, now beamed up.
Beamed up. All right.
Yeah. If we had more budget for this show, there'd be a little transporter effect, but we have no budget, so no transporter effect.
All right. That's all right. We'll pretend.
So, Sherif, you're probably one of the more famous insurtech vendors in the industry. But for those 7 people in the industry who don't know who you are, could you introduce yourself and Trufla, please?
Yes. So my name is Sherif Gemayel. I'm the founder of Trufla. I am formerly a broker owner. I owned a brokerage in Alberta called Sharp Insurance that Trufla was born out of. And Trufla is a tech company, an insurtech for brokers. Our focus is on technology for brokers. Basically, our mission is to digitize and bring the most powerful digital capabilities to brokerages globally.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Sherif, Trufla has a suite of products, but for today's podcast, we're going to focus on a relatively new one for you, the retention X-ray, which is very sciencey, very cool, fits in with the theme of the show here.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's powered by dilithium crystals or what, but maybe you can just tell everybody, what does retention X-ray actually do?
So really simple, and it is the hottest product we've been selling lately. We know that the most painful process inside of a brokerage is handling the renewals, and so the tool was designed to facilitate the entire renewal process, going far beyond the basic metrics that a brokerage would look at, which is basically what happened on that policy on a year-over-year basis, the premium increase, to identify which of their clients are most likely at risk of being lost, and to hone in on those clients so brokers can focus on them. And so shortening their renewal processing time and increasing their retention as well.
Awesome. So what lines of business, does this look after all lines of business or specific lines? What lines of business does the retention X-ray actually support?
Unfortunately, it doesn't look at all lines. It's just personal lines. It relies on the data that comes in and is downloaded in the BMS from the carriers. So what the carriers send through Sizio, we capture that download and then run it through our AI tool. In the commercial world, that data is not available, and most brokers do not have complete data sets. On the commercial side, they don't have, there's not enough information on coverage, limits, premium, a lot of the details that we need to power X-ray. So unfortunately, it is only available in personal lines today.
Okay. It's a good start though. So does or how does the system integrate with any other tools, BMSs or what have you?
So we integrate with most of the BMSs in Canada. There are a couple that we don't integrate with yet, hopefully one day. But even for brokers that are using those systems, it does not need to integrate. It's kind of a standalone, and the entire process can be managed. There are benefits to the integration in terms of providing that intelligence inside of an individual client file or triggering an activity, and depending on the results of the tool. But most brokers actually don't use the integration. It is powerful enough on its own to kind of embed itself into that renewal workflow without having to integrate with the BMS.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about the business impact of retention X-ray. So when I think of business impact at sort of a high level, I think about things like efficiency or productivity. I think about client experience, and I think about growth. So can you maybe talk about how retention X-ray impacts each of those particular metrics?
For sure, and we actually have hard numbers that we've gotten from our clients, because we measure the ROI, because this is, again, one of the most important parts of any brokerage. The renewal book provides most of the income for the brokerage, so it's needing to make sure that it's handled properly. We've had brokers report to us, and we're not talking small brokerages, we're talking about some of the largest brokerages in the country that have reported to us efficiencies of between 60 and 80% on their renewal process, which means that their handling time on a per policy basis goes from an average of 30 minutes down to, kind of 5 to 6 minutes. It's a significant reduction in efficiency, which allows brokers to handle a lot more. So that's from the efficiency side. From the customer experience side, and this ties into the efficiency side as well. There's automation that's created with it that has been shown to reduce phone calls that come into the brokerage by over 35%. And customers have been thrilled about it because there is messaging that can go directly to the customer based on certain conditions that the AI or results that the AI provides, that allows the brokerage to be proactive with their clients, notifying them that their policy went up, that they are going to review it, notifying them that their policy is in good shape and that they shopped and that, we'll see them next year. Basically, it allows the brokerage to offer a proactive approach, not just sending an email blast saying, here's your renewal, please review it and let us know that if anything has changed, to a lot more granular and personalized message, which gives that consumer the feeling that their broker is working for them and is doing something with the renewal. And then the reduction in phone calls is massive, because that's one of the challenges that brokers face, is that they're dealing with the renewals, but then the phone calls come in because the client gets the renewal at the same time that they do. So they're trying to do many things at the same time, which ends up in brokers complaining that they have too much work, that they're burned out, that they are overtaxed. Carriers have pushed more business to them, but it's a combination of a lot of things that we're solving for with retention.
Awesome. And forgive me if you've already mentioned this, but does this have an outcome in terms of improving retention?
It does. So the average broker that deploys this tool sees a lift of between 1.5% and 2.5% on their retention.
Wow. So
it becomes significant.
When you say 1.5% or 2.5%, you mean like points? Like I go from 90 to 91.5?
That's right.
That is, massive. That's huge.
It's massive. I mean, we always say that if a brokerage can increase their retention by 5%, that would double their bottom line profitability inside of the brokerage. So going at 1% actually improves your bottom line profitability by 20%.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
It's significant.
So that's great. So now let's talk about some tactical considerations here. So how do you make sure the data that you're using is, which is client data, is kept secure? You're obviously analyzing every piece of data that comes, every piece of personalized data that comes through a broker's operation. How do you make sure that data is kept secure?
Yeah, so that's top of mind for us, security. It has to be, because we understand that a broker's value is in that data. It's that book of business, right? Like they don't have inventory, they don't have, other assets that, to the brokerage. It's their book of business. So we go to great lengths. We meet the highest security standards. Let's call it bank grade security. When it comes to that data, every broker's data is in their own separate container. So there's no commingling of the data sets between the brokers, and very little access outside of what is needed. So it's a pretty secure environment. We work with most of the largest brokers and carriers globally, so we have to meet a pretty high threshold of security and compliance to be able to work with them.
Awesome. So is this available just for a few brokers? Like Trufla is not Google or Apple. How are you guys able to scale up to meet this demand?
because the platform is a software as a service, the deployment of it, the implementation of it is quite simple. It's quite automated, so we can scale it up, and because it all lives in a virtual environment or on the cloud. Scaling is quite simple, so we can handle every brokerage in the country, if need be, without compromising the performance or security of the system.
Okay, well, maybe we'll flash up your 1-800 Trufla number on the screen after the edit here, or maybe not because I don't have an editor. But so there you go. Challenge is out to every brokerage in the country to give Sherif a call and get on the platform. Speaking of that, I assume, like most things, it is not plug and play. That there's actually some complexity involved in setting this up and getting it rolling. So what resources and support are available to brokers to sign on the dotted line, and how do they get up and get this thing implemented?
Yeah, our focus anytime we implement a broker is on the deployment and the adoption of it. We've seen it too many times where brokers will deploy technology in their world, and for it to sit on a shelf and not be used. So we work with their teams. We go far beyond just training. We actually work to map out their process and make sure that it's properly embedded, because it is a completely new way of handling the renewals when you're adding a tool like this. So we handhold our clients through the not just the implementation of it, but the deployment and the adoption, so that they see real success and a real ROI. The only thing we need is, from an implementation perspective, is one person so that we can get the initial loads in. But outside of that, we kind of handle everything from there. So we make it really turnkey and easy for the broker.
Awesome. How much? So you're obviously what you're doing is going to, I assume, need some potential process or workflow changes from a broker's perspective to take advantage or action the intelligence coming out of the tool. Have you seen most brokers adopt that readily, or some more interested in it than others? Because there's a big opportunity here that they're literally paying for, and I have also seen it when that happens, and then it doesn't, hits the ground with a thud because the workflows and internal changes aren't made. Have you run into that kind of issue?
We have, but we've gotten to a point where we have enough brokers that are using it. We've seen some of the best practices and how they deploy it. Whether a brokerage gives access to every broker, where we kind of working in the tool alongside the renewals, or they have a renewal team that embeds it into their process, or they have someone that extracts the information and cuts it up and sends it to their brokers. We've also created processes where literally every Monday morning the broker gets an email with, here's the list of the renewals you're working on for the upcoming week, based on how we've cut up the data. So there's so many ways now that we've seen on how it's been deployed successfully that we get to go into a brokerage and say, okay, here's some of the best practices. How do you manage your business? And here's what we suggest, to make it as less intrusive as possible, without completely altering all your processes, while still getting maximum return, maximum usage out of the tool. I mean, our big difference as a company is we know brokerages. We were born out of an insurance brokerage, so we know their world quite intimately and have had a lot of success in properly onboarding and deploying and getting the adoption and the buy-in from inside the brokerage to maximize use of the tool.
Okay, awesome. So I'll ask you the $64,000 question. What sort of, and you can answer this in terms of maybe pricing structure, but what are the costs associated with this tool? How do you get compensated for giving brokers all this fantastic business outcomes?
Yeah, the cost is really, really simple. It's basically one price. And it's not on a per user fee basis or anything like that. So the brokerage pays kind of one fee for unlimited use, unlimited emails and communications that are sent out. If you're looking for the intelligence X-ray alone, it's $9.99 so $1,000 per month. And if you want to layer on top of the communications, where you can automate the communications, which has a massive impact on the phone calls, you add another $6.99 per month, and that is unlimited use of everything.
Okay, awesome. So, Sherif, maybe you can take all this feedback you've just given us and kind of summarize it into your elevator pitch. Right? When you're talking to a potential broker who's not yet using your tool, give us the 30-second pitch that you give to them.
Perfect. So Retention X-ray will reduce your renewal process in your brokerage, will free up your broker's time, will reduce the the workload on each individual brokerage, and reduce phone calls that come into the brokerage all at the same time. It almost sounds like it's too good to be true, but we've seen it so many times. And without breaking the bank, we're not like some of the other tech companies where we're trying to milk as much as possible. We want to see brokers succeed and provide them the best technology to succeed.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sherif. So what I hear is your new tagline is Retention X-ray. It won't break the bank.
It will not break the bank. You got it.
All right. Thanks, Sherif.
The world of insurance is changing because the world of tech is changing. Join us on the journey at ibactech.ca.